Ancient Demon Lord Rimuru by Mertinator1905. 20. Envy. 1 month had passed since Rimuru visited the imaginary space, where Seal was training Chloe and Hinata. Guy was reading mangas to pass time and Velzard also took a liking to them, although she read romance mangas and just from time to time. Velgrind had also returned and left behind a badly beaten Veldora, who wasn't expecting education lessons from his sister out of the blue. He didn't even get an explanation. Velgrind appeared before him, and before he could say anything, without giving an explanation, she started to beat him up. Only after he lost consciousness she gave him an explanation as to what the reason was for her rage, but Veldora never heard that. Although she has returned to the Palace of White Ice, she was strangely never seen and nobody knew where she was. Until one day Rimuru went to his imaginary space to visit Seal and the others, only to find Velgrind, Seal and Chloe, sitting around a table and discussing something while Hinata was serving them drinks and snacks. When they spotted him, they quickly turned silent and acted like they were just casually chatting about everyday topics. Soon after, he was thrown out by Seal with the excuse that they had to continue their training, and he would just distract them. The days went on and everything was peaceful, when Rimuru suddenly remembered that he promised Dagrul and Luminos that they would host a Demon Lord banquet to welcome them. He stood up from his bed and teleported to Guy, who was laying on the couch. Guy, we have to host a Walpurgis for the new Demon Lords. Guy, who was busy reading, didn't look up from his manga and answered without averting his eyes. Walpurgis. What's that? Oh, I thought simply saying, Demon Lords meeting is boring, that's why I came up with a name for it. Well, doesn't sound bad. Sure, why not? You sure became lazy didn't you? Rimuru said, letting out a sigh. Part of him regretted leading Guy into the world of mangas. The before serious Guy had turned into an otaku. Now Rimuru was left with all the work, even when Rain and Ultima were doing nearly everything for him. Shut up. If that's everything of importance you have to say, leave me alone. Have Misery help you if you need anything. Rimuru let out another sigh and left the room to check up on another resident of the palace. Velzard was in her room, laying face down on her bed, several books spread across the room. She didn't even move when she heard a knock. Guy and the other demons knew that she didn't want to be disturbed in her room, so it had to be Rimuru. Milam would have smashed the door in, and Velgrind wouldn't even bother to knock on the door. Rimuru knocked again and heard a muffled, "Come on in," this time and entered the room. Wow, you sure are messy these days Velzard, look at your room. I like it that way, don't bother me with that. What do you want? That hurts, you know. And here I thought I could visit you and maybe give you some advice, you know. Rimuru said, and wiped away a fake tear from his face. Advice? What kind of advice? Velzard asked, curious. You see, I realized you were reading all these romance stuff, so I thought I could help you a little with a certain red demon, Rimuru said, with a smug expression. He was expecting a praise, or an excited Velzard accepting his proposal, but he didn't expect the temperature of the room to drop dramatically. Velzard was glaring at him, with a menacing smile. Velzard. Did I say something wrong? Rimuru asked, panicked. Wrong. Who do you think I am? What are you thinking by pairing me up with a lowly demon? Go away before I decide to punish you for your insolence. Velzard shouted. Velzard didn't have to say it twice, as Rimuru quickly left the room. What was that about? In Tempest, she always came to me, complaining about how dense Guy was. That wasn't a Tsunere I saw in there, she really was mad. She really was different than usual. Seal. Finally you decide to talk again. What was that about? Why did she freak out like that? I have two theories, although I'm not sure how accurate they are. Do you want to hear them? Yes, go ahead. My first guess would be that Velzard simply doesn't know what love is, not counting the familiar love the true dragons share among each other. It's possible that she is too proud to admit that she is in love with a lesser race. That makes sense knowing how proud and stubborn Velzard can be. What about the second theory? You know how skills manifest out of the soul of an individual. Do you remember Velzard's skills? Yes, Patience King Gabriel right. But what context does this have with her relationship with Guy? No master, although it is a unique skill at this moment, she has the skill, envy. It will, as you know, evolve into envious King Leviathan in the future. I still can't see a connection. Sigh. Who was Guy chasing after the whole time? Chasing after. He was always making advances on Leon but Wait a minute. Don't tell me. Yes, exactly. I think after realizing that Guy Crimson fell for Leon Cromwell, Belzard became envious and that's how she came to love him. So you're saying that her love was born out of envy of Leon? That is weird. That's my theory. Rimuru was dumbfounded after his conversation with Seal. And here he thought that he could play the knight and help Guy and Belzard bond, but it looks like he has to wait for Leon to appear and claim his demon lord seat to help them out. The true dragons are for sure weird. After the matter with Belzard was settled, Rimuru remembered that he had to inform everyone about the upcoming Walpurgis. Rain, Ultima. Rain and Ultima appeared in front of their lord, kneeling, and awaited their orders. How many times do I have to say you don't have to kneel every time I call for you? Well, whatever, you two have to go and inform the other demon lords that we will host a Walpurgis tomorrow and that I expect them to appear, no matter what. But don't cause any problems like you did last times. Simply deliver the message and return back. As you wish, Rimuru-sama. Rain and Ultima said in unison and left. Misery. Like Ultima and Rain, she also appeared before Rimuru, but simply bowed. The reason was simply because she listened to Rimuru and did as he told her. You called me Rimuru-sama. Yes. You have to help me prepare for the Walpurgis tomorrow. Follow me. Misery nodded and silently followed Rimuru. So tomorrow will be the big day, huh? Let's see how it turns out. Rimuru thought to himself and started the preparations for the first Walpurgis.